Well, I'm delighted to be joined on the OEUK stand by Dave Whitehouse, who's the Chief Executive of Offshore Energies UK, and this is your first Offshore Europe in that role.
It is my first in the role. Delighted to be here actually. So 4 years since we were last here in person. I think celebrating 50 years of achievement in the North Sea. So actually a fantastic time to be here and actually a pivotal time to be here.
Let's just say that's not your first Offshore Europe though, is it?
I have been around a little while. I try and pretend I'm a little bit younger than I am, but 30 years so far in offshore energy. It's 30 years in oil and gas, so definitely not my first offshore Europe.
No, me neither, but we can pretend, can't we? So 50 years of Offshore Europe, what would you say for this event in particular are the key messages, the discussions, the really important elements of this integrated energy industry that people need to be aware of, whether that's the public or the politicians?
I think you touched on there is the integrated nature of it. So a couple of the key messages I would take away. We're going to be here for the next 4 days and we're going to see 40,000 people attending this conference. And what does that tell you? It tells us we have a fantastic domestic industry here in the UK. We've got a tremendous heritage in oil and gas, and I think one of the things that will be taken away from this is look back on the last 50 years and the great things we've done, but look forward. We've got a future not just in continuing oil and gas, but developing into all of those new energies. We'll talk about carbon storage, we'll talk about hydrogen, we'll talk about geothermal. One of the great things that will come out of this, I think, will be a conversation about the futures for the next 50 years.
And this is a platform really, isn't it? It's quite a unique platform for our industry to showcase the importance of what people do, the importance of bringing in new jobs, creating new jobs, maintaining jobs in the energy industry.
I couldn't agree more on that. And sometimes I think the public don't realise actually what happens to create energy. It is a miracle when you turn on your boiler that you get heat. It's a miracle when you turn on your electricity and you get electricity. And actually Aberdeen and this conference is absolutely at the centre of it. We employ over 200,000 people in the sector, and if we get this right going forward, actually we're going to create loads more highly skilled jobs across actually not just here in the northeast of Scotland, but up and down the UK. That's the opportunity that we're looking to unlock this week.
And another thing that we're really needing to highlight, and I've heard it already coming up, is the term energy security. And I've heard you talking about energy security along with other energy leaders. I think this is an opportunity to express just what the country needs to do to increase our energy security.
Energy security absolutely at the forefront of the political debate. We've seen the war in Ukraine and the impact it has had on consumers and our own energy security. And if it wasn't for our domestic oil and gas production, if it wasn't for our wider energy production, then absolutely the impact on consumers would have been huge. So again, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to talk about what the sector does, what those 200,000 decent people do in order to power the lives that we have here in the UK.
I have to ask you, the energy industry is often wrongly accused, of doing a lot of talking.
Yep.
We heard in the plenary session this morning in front of the Energy Minister, we're being told we're still not good enough at telling people our stories from this industry. Are we getting there, do you think?
I think that criticism, actually, there's some fairness to that. I think for so long we've been very quiet about what we do. We've been so quiet about what we bring to the country, not just the economic value, but the decent jobs in communities up and down the country. So I think we have been quiet. But are we getting there? Yes, I think we are. I think more and more you are beginning to see people actually beginning to talk about what they do, about energy, and actually about the role of oil and gas within that, which I think is really important. And I think the more we talk about it, the more I think we're starting to see a much better public discussion about our energy future.
Can only be a good thing. Dave, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.